Weintraub with Collider, and I am thrilled to be with part of the cast of Mythic Quest. I love your show. I want to thank you so much for coming in. But I guess I'm going to start with the most important question. Are you guys cool with him standing on an apple crate during the interview?
He is a really difficult ego, and we just try to make do with what we can.
So here's the thing. I don't know how many, for each of you, have you been to Comic-Con before? Is this, like, can you sort of talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have been here so many times. I'm kind of part of the nerd business since I was like 18, so I've been here a few times. Probably the biggest thing I did here was moderating the Adventure Time panel, the last one that was here. That was really cool.
I watched that online. It was really cool.
If I was a better journalist, I would know this information prior to asking that, but let's just pretend, I'm messing around. But for you guys, I know
yeah,
one of you.
You've got a real span here because we've got veterans and first timers, and it's been nice to get to lean on Ashley and Danny. Have you been to Comic-Con before?
Once, but I didn't really get to experience it. I was here for work, and I just popped onto the floor for a few minutes and felt very overwhelmed, and then I was like, okay, that's enough. But it's a really great community, so yeah.
Jumping into actually the show, I believe you guys, and I don't know, but you have wrapped the next season, or you?
Yes.
So how long ago did you guys actually wrap?
May? Time.
2 months ago.
May?
Yeah, May.
So what are you allowed to actually tease about the new season? What can I expect?
We are in it.
All four of us.
All four
Miracles
of us?
happen.
Yes.
Miracles.
There's eye contact.
There's eye contact. There are words and comedy.
Our characters
know.
have developed. They're figuring out
There's growth arcs, mini arcs, big arcs, medium arcs,
peaks and valleys,
All sizes.
bathroom scenes,
challenges,
conference room scenes.
conflict.
There's some conflict.
Well, listen, one of the things that I love about the show, one of the many things, is that it's really, there can be episodes that are very unexpected, things that really come out of left field. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so not what you know what I mean? Yeah. And so the writing, and I want to go into the writing, it's so good. Can you sort of talk about what it's like getting those scripts for the first time? And I guess just talk a little bit about that.
Ashley.
Well, I don't. I'm on the writing staff. So I feel like I shouldn't answer this question.
I will say, reading the scripts, it is such a joy. I think also coming into the season now, we all know our characters pretty well too. So it's so fun to kind of jump into a season where everything is just kind of flying. And I feel like, especially the way our season starts, it's very much like every character is very clear and what their mission is. And that was just really fun. So, but the writing's amazing on the show. And it's also very kind of like organic in the process too. Everyone kind of jumps in and changes and helps and makes it better, which is really cool.
Well, that's the thing, and a lot of people I've spoken to, when you get to the third season, everyone, then the writers and everybody knows the voices, so it's so much clearer. So it's how much does that help? Like, I guess on set, are you allowed as actors to like tweak things? Are you thinking about it the night before? Like, maybe this is going to be an alt.
Yeah. Yes. We're encouraged to. I mean, there's so much rewriting happens just from improv on the day. I mean, I think there's a scene that you and I are in the car. There's a car. Spoiler.
There's a car on a road.
Should we
Going somewhere?
The model? It's a Prius.
It's a Prius. I'm driving.
Boom, there you go. Big spoiler.
But Imani and I basically riffed the entire scene. So there's certain things that some of my favorite scenes I think from previous seasons are people just riffing.
Yeah.
Which I think comes from most of the EPs are Sunny people, and there's so much improv in Sunny. So it makes it really fun that that the script is a great place to start, and then if there's stuff that you want to try, it's not, it's going to be encouraged.
So it's not like Curb where it's like they get a paragraph.
No.
I'm joking.
Yeah, okay.
So I love learning about like the behind the scenes, the making of a show. So for fans, what do you think might surprise them to learn about like the actual making of the series?
We move very quickly. I don't know if that's a surprise, but the way that we can't even keep up. We were so ahead of schedule that they would sort of like force us to take hiatus days because they're like, we need to slow down.
Yeah.
We were supposed to wrap like 2 weeks after we wrapped this past season.
We were shooting so fast that they didn't have time to do pre-production on upcoming episodes.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like, I feel like we kept going home being like,
actors we love because we get to go home and be with our families and our partners and our dogs, and we get to have dinner after work. So it's great.
I just want to point this out, and I want more answers, but for people that don't actually understand the way TV works, this is not the norm.
No.
Very rare.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
rare.
No one I know has ever said that to me in all my interviews.
It's
Yeah.
really
Ever.
a testament to Rob
It truly
McElhenney
is.
and our
Yeah.
crew.
It's
and
about balance and like family, and it's so nice when you're like, oh, I have a thing on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I can make my daughter swim meet. That's never happened to me before, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else though about like the behind the scenes that you think might surprise people?
I would say the whole crew is very talented in a way where it's, how it's filmed, the DPs, the art department, props. Everybody comes together really cool. It's like a family. It really is like a family. I think, especially over the last couple of years, we've really bonded because it's been, there used to be people on sets all the time, and now it's just it's tighter, right?
Yeah.
And so. It's been really cool to see how everyone's really embraced that, and everyone just always adds a nice little creative layer to whatever we're doing. So it's fun to watch everybody work so quickly,
Mhm.
It's a well-oiled machine, our show there. We like it.
Check it out. Just check it out.
As someone who's on an Apple show, does that mean you get an Apple subscription for life?
no.
Nah.
Can we do something about this?
If
Hopefully.
you've got the strings to pull,
Yeah.
I am not going to stop
Could
you.
could you call Tim for us?
We're BFFs.
Do you want a side hustle of
Right.
getting into Tim Cook's good graces?
No. So going into the actual technical making of the series, you mentioned how fast you work, but typically is it supposed to be like a 7-day schedule, an 8-day schedule? What is it actually like trying to do the episodes?
I mean, some episodes. I mean, we shot. Well, Danny and I directed the season.
And they were
Um,
phenomenal.
By the way, this is surprising things to learn.
Yeah,
That,
I mean, maybe we should have said that in one of the previous podcasts.
Oh, this is a sport. Is it?
That's
That's not a spoiler. That's
No.
That's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler.
Imani's like, wait.
Wait, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
We're okay.
yeah.
Okay, we're okay.
Great,
We're
great,
okay.
great,
We're
But I
okay.
think you
It's all
shot.
good. It's all good.
You shot your episode in 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
You shot your episode in
3.5, I think.
3.5.
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
fast.
And
Yes.
usually it's a Monday through Friday type of situation
Yeah.
for a half-hour comedy. But
But our script is very different, right? So the episode I was directing didn't have a lot of exterior locations.
Right.
Or it didn't have. It was very set in the office. Singular location, mostly two-person scenes. So it was. We've done it before, and the way our crew moves, they know how to shoot it, they know how to light it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was wonderful to step into a new role, but I felt like really supported the whole
Yeah.
time, and it was just great. They're all amazing, and so it made my job super easy.
My thing though is when you are directing a show that has a format, how much do you? Because obviously you can't turn the Ferrari so far, but
Right.
how much are you thinking about like a camera shot
Oh yeah.
that like you have been waiting to do, and you're like, I've been saving it for my episode.
Well, I feel like you have to have the script in mind, obviously. So it's really for me like breaking down the episode I directed is like, what does it call for? And there's a moment where there's more of a dramatic scene where we went a little bit handheld, which our show doesn't typically do. But we have a little bit of flexibility, and especially if it's sort of not demanded by, but like encouraged by what's on the page. So it is nice, I think, also as first-time directors to be like, oh, there's a formula you have to follow. I
Yeah.
think it would have been a little intimidating otherwise.
Yeah.
But I felt like we had room to play and try weird stuff, even within the confines of like the set
Absolutely.
aesthetic.
And I got to walk around, and we got to walk around with our DP before and just kind of talk
Yeah.
about the scenes. And, it starts with the page. It starts with the scenes and the tone and making sure you have sort of those rails. But then you can kind of play a little and be like, I think for this scene, maybe we could try something new here. We have some really cool locations, so interior. So you can kind of play with the form a little bit. And we got to do that, which was fun. And then, you try it, and then people either say yes or no. That's it.
How many episodes is this season actually?
10.
It's 10, right?
Yeah,
you're right.
Big
10.
spoiler. Big spoiler.
Yeah.
Big,
I was
big
like, how
spoiler.
many is it?
I don't
10.
know.
It's 10.
Well, one of the things that I think makes the show so strong, and other shows that are like 8 and 10 episodes, is you're not doing 22 or 26, where you will have some weaker episodes. I love the 8 and 10 episode format. For you guys, can you sort of talk about that aspect, because every episode is so strong?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about being able to do shorter runs also is that you get the chance to craft an actual story that is, and arcs that you can track throughout the season. I feel like for other, back in the day of like 22 episodes, it's kind of hard to build that over the course of that many episodes. It becomes a bit more rinse and repeat. So for us, we get to like think about, okay, where are we heading with all these characters? What do we want to build in? We have these episodes that can be sort of self-contained, but also serve a larger story. So in the writer's room, that's really fun to think about, like, where do we want Poppy and I to end? what do we need to do to get there, and all the characters, you know. So I that's really fun as a writer, is to be able to build those arcs in.
There's an actor question. So I'm obviously at some point you play someone who's doing something that you completely disagree with, and I'm not looking at anyone specifically. So I'm just curious, what is it actually like as an actor to play those scenes where you're saying and doing things that you're like, oh my God, I would never do this? Is it fun? Is it liberating? Can you sort of talk about that?
For me, I can only do it if I know I'm the butt of the joke. So like if Joe's being a bully, we have to know that she's being stupid and she's making a mistake that everyone can see as a mistake. Because I don't just like being mean. And I think if the joke is to be mean, if everyone isn't laughing, then you're not that funny. So yeah, my goal with Joe is like when she's making mistakes to lean into the mistake. Because some of the stuff I say is brutal, and otherwise I don't think I could go home and be happy, like as a human being, knowing that anyone's gonna be like, I relate to her.
I do have a question though. When you are in a moment where you're like just doing stuff, when the scene's over, do you almost feel like I am so sorry, or is everyone sort of understanding?
They love it. Everyone's eating it up.
Love
They're like,
it.
Joe yelled at me
Love
today.
it.
So
Oh,
it's
great.
it's if anything, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, but they're all like, give us more. It's really fun. We have a good. We all have fun with Joe.
Does anyone else want to add? Or
I mean, I ended up in prison last year, so I mean, that was thrilling as an actor to be able to do all these things. It's really fun. I get to do a lot of things that I don't normally get to do in my everyday life. My son counts the number of swear words I have per episode, which is really fun.
Do you have to pay per word?
Do a
Is there a swear jar?
Yeah, there's a swear. There should be a swear jar.
He's like,
Dad.
Is your son Brad?
Yes.
He might
up,
be.
Dad.
He might
Pay
be. He's all about the money. No, but that's the cool thing about acting is that you want to be able to try things you don't get to do in your normal life.
Yeah. Totally.
What's really fun this season too is we get to see all these different colors of Dana's personality, because we like really set her up in season 1 and 2 as being nice, but she's not really nice. She's kind. She's kind, and so we get to see those different layers of how she can, you know, call out some BS if she spots it, and she gets a little sassy. We like it.
do you find that when you meet people in the video game industry, and I don't know if you do or don't, that they all want to tell you stories to like incorporate? Like how much, or do you not meet anyone in the industry?
I don't really meet anybody in the video game industry.
I started in the video game industry, so I know a lot of folks, and I was a little disturbed how accurate our show was, apparently. I had a lot of people being like, oh no, I was triggered by your show. Like, I kind of can't watch it. It's too real. And I was like, oh no.
Wow.
There's actually a Twitter thread. There's a scene with Sue in the first season where she's speaking to a bunch of little girls. She's our community manager. And she's describing what it's like to be a community manager. And it started like a viral thread of community managers in the game development community being like, this is the most, I'm like, I feel attacked. This is exactly how I feel about my job. So we got it right, apparently, maybe a little too right. But yeah.
We are at Comic-Con, and I really like asking people what they obsess over. So if you actually have the time to walk the convention floor, what would you be looking for?
Who wants to start?
Well, I went straight to the Nickelodeon booth because that orange just calls to my soul like a pacifier to a baby. Baby to a pacifier? Fly to a flame. Anyway, yeah, I love Nickelodeon. But what I obsess over is RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm a diehard fan. I love it. I look forward to going to DragCon one day, and that's the answer to what I obsess over.
Obsessions. I got to walk the floor. It was very exciting. I love going to the artist gallery. I liked doing those walks. My favorite comic right now is Descender, and I got to meet the artist of Descender, which is really cool, Dustin Wen, and that was really thrilling for me.
Oh, I would say comics and graphic novels right now. I got a really cool comic or graphic novel yesterday, and it's called Wash Day. And it's by a Black author, and it's about 4 women in their natural hair journey, which is like really cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I also go to the art session too.
I probably look for Sailor Moon stuff, if I'm totally honest with you.
Oh, I have something else to say because I realized I was like, what am I excited about DragCon? I also like seeing people dress up here.
Yes.
Did
So
I say
fun. So fun.
What's crazy about the cosplay here, and I hear this from a lot of actors and directors, is like sometimes the costumes are better than what is on set, especially when it's like a last minute costume on set, and it's just amazing what people, and they don't have like the the blueprints to do it. Like
Yeah.
they're looking
No, they
at
just come up with it.
yeah, it's a real talent.
It's incredible.
You know?
Yeah.
On that note, I'm just going to say I really love your show. And I obviously talked no specifics about the new season except to say that I can't wait to watch it. And I really look forward to talking to you guys again once I've seen it to talk about specifics. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you.
Thank you for watching our show.